Welcome back to this third part of this three-part podcast. Now, continuing with the story of the trading of Baker Mayfield, coming in when Deshaun Watson at quarterback may not be available. Now, his hearing before the NFL and NFL Players Association is jointly appointed as a disciplinary officer Sue L. Robinson finished after 3 days last Thursday. Well, a couple of Thursdays ago. But the decision has yet to be made. She's looking at this from every aspect. And that decision, as I've said, could come tomorrow or sometime next week. When I know, I will let you know. So, and the NFL has been pushing for a suspension for at least a year, according to ESPN's Dan Graziano, who reported that both sides engaged in multiple attempts to reach a settlement while the hearing was still happening, but remain unable to agree. There is no timetable for Robinson's decision. If Watson is suspended, the Browns are expected to start Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. But hopefully, Browns fans and the players are hoping for either a 2 or 8 game suspension, as I said earlier. The Watson trade effectively ended the Mayfield era in Cleveland. The Browns selected the former Heisman Trophy winner at number 1 in 2018, and he made his debut in Week 3 that season off the bench and rallied the Browns to their first victory in 635 days. He went on to finish second in the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year voting, while breaking the NFL rookie record with 27 touchdowns. That record was later broken in 2020 by Los Angeles Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert, who finished with 31 touchdown passes. Mayfield's tenure overall, however, was narrowed by inconsistency, drama, and a left shoulder injury that plagued him throughout the 2021 season. Over his 4 years in Cleveland, Mayfield, according to multiple sources, had grown increasingly frustrated with a franchise that had made him the 4th quarterback in history to play for 4 different head coaches in his first 3 seasons. Even after Mayfield led the Browns to their first playoff victory in 26 years, during the 2020 season, the team declined to engage Mayfield's camp about a potential contract extension once he became eligible for one, a signal to Mayfield that he might not be in the team's long-term plans. Excuse me. Mayfield then suffered a torn labrum to his non-throwing left shoulder in Week 2 of the 2021 season. And instead of sitting out or undergoing season-ending surgery, Mayfield played through the injury and struggled for much of the season. One season after finishing in the top 10 in QBR in 2020, he fell all the way to 27th in 2021. The largest QB drop-off, 30.4 of any passer in the league, according to ESPN Stats and Information. Still, over the past 2 months, Browns coach Kevin Stefanski and general manager Andrew Berry reportedly have publicly affirmed that Mayfield would remain their quarterback. At the NFL Combine in February, Berry told Mayfield's agent that the Browns might pursue an elite-level quarterback, such as Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, according to a source familiar with the conversation. Mayfield's camp was also aware that, that short list could eventually include Watson, even with 22 pending civil case at the time alleging inappropriate behavior and sexual assault during massage sessions. On March 10th, when a Texas grand jury declined to pursue criminal charges against Watson, the Browns made their move, securing a meeting with Watson in Houston. Multiple sources told ESPN that Mayfield was angered that the Browns didn't inform him directly that they would be meeting with Watson instead of he finding out about it from over social media. Mayfield responded with a statement that night, thanking the city of Cleveland and its fans for who truly embraced who I am, while the Browns officials were flying back from Houston. The breaking point for Mayfield with the Browns, however, came later that week. On March 16th, ESPN's Chris Mortensen reported a Browns source had told him that the team wanted to replace Mayfield with an adult at that position. Mayfield requested a trade the next day. The Browns initially told him they were not going to accommodate his request. But after Cleveland landed Watson, Mayfield became expandable. As a result, Mayfield becomes just the third quarterback in NFL history to go number one overall in the draft and last 4 or fewer seasons with the team that drafted him, according to ESPN stats and information, joining Jamarcus Russell of the LA Raiders and Jeff George of the Indianapolis Colts. Now, as I've said, we have not seen the last of Baker Mayfield yet, and because the Browns will be playing the Carolina Panthers in Week 1 on Sunday, September 11th, and Mayfield will probably be most likely the starting quarterback. And as I said, Brissett will start, but right now, to who will be the Browns' starting quarterback, that is to be determined. So I will let you know when that becomes available. The All-Star game is behind us, but the American League beat the National League 3-2 in Tuesday night's All-Star game at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. The Guardians left a big imprint in Tuesday night's game. Andres Gimenez, the LA starting second baseman, the American League starting second baseman, set the tone early by starting a great double play on a tough bouncer behind the bag behind Manny Machado in the first inning. Gimenez did a behind the back flip to shortstop Tim Anderson, who forced Mookie Betts and threw to first baseman Vlad Guerrero, Jr. to complete the double play. Jose Ramirez entered the game in the third inning at third base for starter Rafael Devers. He started the fourth inning with a single to center field off Tony Gonsolin of the Dodgers. All-Star Game MVP Giancarlo Stanton with a one out followed Ramirez with a homer to left center field to pull the American League into a 2-2 tie. Byron Buxton, the next batter, put the AL ahead to stay at 3-2 with another homer. Ramirez singled again in the fifth on a a bloop hit to right field in four All-Star games. Ramirez is 4-7, 571 average. Finally, closer Emmanuel Clase, appearing in his first All-Star game, struck out the NL in order in the ninth inning to get the save, and he struck out Garrett Cooper, Kyle Schwarber, and Jake Cronenworth on 10 pitches. Clase went into the All-Star game, the All-Star break, tied for second in the AL with 19 saves, a 1.41 ERA. And the Guardians had yesterday and Wednesday and yesterday off. Now, the Guardians will be back in action tomorrow on Friday, as they will begin a 3-game series against the Chicago White Sox at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. The pitching matchup for the Guardians and the White Sox is to be determined. First pitch is tomorrow on Friday at 8:10 on Apple TV, and I think hopefully on Sports Time Ohio. You'll have to check me on that. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for this 3-part podcast of Scott Sports 101. I'll be back this weekend or sometime next week with another podcast of Scott Sports 101. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day and every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.